Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Skader Things. I'm your host, Obby, as always, and we have our two co-hosts, as usual, Evan and Blue. Blue is sporting a
Hello.
stormtrooper helmet today for some reason.
Sorry, last night's wardrobe, my bad. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Definitely from the party last night.
It was a party.
It was a crazy
Can't
party.
go into it.
Yeah. But we are joined by a special guest today, and this is probably the fastest we've ever gotten to introduce the guest in this in our episodes.
Yes, hi. Usually we bullshit for 5 minutes.
We bullshit for 5 minutes before
I
introducing.
mean, we can still do that.
I mean, we can bullshit after we
do a little
introduce you.
dance.
But
or you could just bullshit with us.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Well, we
Bit of
have
bullshit. We're all
BB
bit of
here
bullshit.
today.
Hi, BB.
Hello.
1201.
Not
We
the full
have
government
3
name.
Valks here today, and
Oh.
I am scared.
As you should be.
I didn't even think about that. How does
This
that
is
feel,
an
Ollie?
intervention.
This is
What?
an intervention. We heard about your anime addiction, and we want to talk to you about how your anime addiction affects us in the following ways.
Okay,
One.
each one of you lists a reason right now.
One, you got me watching Free Ren, and I was literally taking a bubble bath this morning watching Free Ren, going, what am I? Who am I? And that's my number one concern.
Okay, Evan?
I don't really have any valid reasons, so I'm just going to abstain from this.
Wow.
I have a valid reason. It
What-
is coming into your shower time, and I can smell it from states away. So
You need to learn to watch in the bubble bath like I do. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll have you
Problem
know,
solved.
first off, when I do take a bath, which I don't take baths often, but when I do take a bath,
Every day.
do you watch
I-
anime?
I watch something. I either watch YouTube or anime.
You know what? I was just telling somebody yesterday that I fear I might be an iPad kid now.
Because you have a
I'm
short
really-
attention span?
No, because it's really I cannot eat without something playing in front of me now.
Honestly, same
Oh,
though.
no.
Like I'm at that point where I
Oh,
need
is
to
that
have
what
like a
that's called?
TikTok.
Because
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
there
an
too.
iPad kid. I need
I
to
can't
have
even go to the bathroom. I cannot even just go pee, which, takes 45 seconds without having something playing.
Wait, can you still do it? Like, if you had someone with you, can you abstain from it? Because I can still do
Like,
that.
if I'm
buddy
at like
in the
a restaurant
bathroom?
or something and I'm like talking
Oh.
with them, but then eventually like 30 minutes into that I'm still pulling out my phone.
See,
And like
You know what?
habitually the second like my phone unlocks, my thumbs just go right to TikTok or Instagram. It's just one of those two.
Yeah.
It's very much on autopilot. I was at a restaurant just a few hours ago, actually, and the all of us were on our phones, like waiting for our food. But like, I see. I can eat when I'm with people. I don't need any stimulation. Like the minute the food arrived and everyone started eating, I didn't go on my phone once
yeah.
until I finished. But yeah, I'm actually kind of similar to BB, and I usually just eat my food at my desk anyway, so I don't really use my phone or my iPad,
Yeah.
but I probably would.
See, I'm the kind of person that, like, I never usually use my phone when I'm talking to someone at dinner. But if I do pull out my phone, it is to insult that person, be like, you're not very communicative or you're not a good conversationalist.
If I'm
Yeah.
with somebody, it's a little different. Like I do talk to them, but if I'm
Mhm.
eating alone,
Yeah,
that phone's
alone.
coming out. Like breakfast
Alone,
every
I'm
day.
watching a
I'm
YouTube video.
pulling up Smosh.
I'm pulling
Well,
up my
I-
phone. I'm watching Good Mythical Morning. I am watching whatever is on my phone.
I'm playing Pokemon Go.
I'm
Hi.
I think that day that
Yeah.
TikTok was banned, I looked back at how many times I opened the app, and this is, keep in mind, this is without anything on the app. I still opened the app 64 times in one day. So like the habit of like opening it,
Yeah.
I feel weird without it.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's bad.
Was
I
it
guess
banned
into
for
the
the
term,
entire
I-
day, or was it like only like a few hours?
It's like 12 hours.
12
It was
hours?
like half a day.
Yeah,
Wow.
'cause it was like
we
when I
woke
woke up,
to
it was banned, and then like by the time I went to
by
bed, it
afternoon
was
it was back.
unbanned.
Yeah. But it was a very
Yeah.
scary time, Obby. Very scary.
It sounds so terrifying, honestly.
was.
There's
It's
a
not
lot
like
of
there's
apps that
5
have-
other competing apps that do the same
I
thing
was-
nowadays.
Well, I was afraid I'd never be able to eat again.
You just starve to death.
It's like, how am I supposed to eat my food without constant stimulation while eating?
Yeah.
And making me
true,
choke on my
though.
food by accident.
It's not even just eating though. Like I said, for me, it's even going to the bathroom. It's anything that I'm more than 10 seconds. Like
Yeah, me and Blue are never pooping again.
Never. Or eating, which I guess goes together. If you're not eating, you're probably not pooping.
To be fair,
so-
I think everyone nowadays, when they go to take a poop or something, they're taking their phone. I know, like sometimes if
I've
I'm
been
Yeah,
doing
trying to
that
take
since the
a
Nokia brick days when I would just text my friend
Blue's
boobs, you
scrolling
know?
on her BlackBerry on the toilet.
Literally.
same though. I loved using
Well,
my
and
BlackBerry
before
on the toilet.
that, I had to read like shampoo bottles. So you guys don't
Yeah.
even understand
Oh
that.
Lord, no, I
Like that
remember
was
those
the
days.
day because I can't just sit there and twiddle my thumbs. I have to be doing something. And I know that's partly my ADHD, but yeah, so the days of reading shampoo bottles are now just
Honestly,
scrolling through TikTok,
the
Instagram,
times that I
Pokemon Go.
forget to bring my phone and I'm
This time.
already on the toilet, I really hope
You know-
it's like a painful
Hey,
shit sometimes.
do you I
Just so I have
I would
something to
just
focus on.
call Riley. Can you bring me my phone? But first of
I
all,
will-
that's silly. Who doesn't have their phone glued to their hand?
I will say this. One thing I'm quite ashamed to admit is like usually my phone rests on my desk when I'm at it, and so if I ever need to go and go for a poop, often I will like get up and leave, and then I will sometimes like actually come back to take my phone to the toilet if I forget.
Oh yeah,
Like, I will
absolutely.
actually
Yeah,
come back
I do that
for it.
I'll
too.
like sit down,
That's
pull
not
down my
shameful.
pants, and
It's
I'm like,
not.
I
It's a
need
normal
my
thing.
phone.
Oh, I'll sit back up and go get it.
Yeah.
It's a normal
It's
thing to
what
take
else
your
are you gonna
phone to the
do?
toilet.
It could be the
5
biggest
minutes.
emergency.
say-
I'm still going back for that
That's like
phone.
you can get through 4 videos in one poop. easy.
Nah.
I sometimes do think to myself,
Short
like,
form
how
content.
did they? I know it's all they knew, so of course they did cope. But I just sometimes
They
think, like,
had
man, like, how did they?
magazines and
Yeah, well,
books
no.
and stuff.
Oh, yeah, but
my
like
uncle
more,
had some interesting magazines in his bathroom.
more broadly speaking, though, like even like silly things. Like the other day, I was on a break at work for like half an hour, and I was just thinking, God damn, this would be the slowest break in the world if I did not have my phone with me.
They would bring out like card games or
We
something.
talked to each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
It was really
Oh.
weird. We'd be like,
Yeah, back
"How's
in
it
the day,
going?"
people would socialize
Oh,
with each other.
now it's
Oh,
like
we're
the
just a
internet
bunch of
goes
psychos.
out. Riley and I look at each other like, "Oh, you're still here. Hi, how's it going?"
I kind of wish, like, I kind of almost wish that there was a way we could kind of have like a balance. I feel like it's very hard to have like one like we kind of either have to have one or the other. There's not really such a thing as like moderation or like kind of like a half and half.
I mean,
I've
you're
always
more
thought
than
like
welcome to put down your phone and talk to people.
yeah, but yes, and I could do that. But like I'm talking like on average, the majority of people I would say are more invested in their phones, and that's fine. Like that's just the society we have now, and that's not. I'm not angry at them in particular. I don't have an issue with that, but I sometimes do think like, man, like I almost wish these things weren't invented, and then we wouldn't have really lost that sense of like connection that we don't really have on that same level anymore.
I don't think we really have connection anymore. Like I see
No.
people all the time, like at restaurants, and like 90% of the people at tables are on their phones.
Yeah,
And I
there's no
can't
point.
judge because like I would probably be the same if I don't like going to restaurants per se, but like but me, I'd be more playing Pokemon Go, which then I would validate as I'm not watching a video, I'm playing a mindless game. But
Which
it's
is
become
sometimes even
so
worse.
I mean,
it probably is worse in a way, but it's so normalized. Like it used to be when you would see a couple both on their phone, you'd be like, "Ugh, that relationship's in trouble." Like, or oh, they can't even talk to each other for 5 minutes. And now it's like
Nah.
everyone's like that.
It's like
So
I do that on the first date. Like if I'm going on a first date, I'm trying to make it a point that I'm not using my phone at all because I want to
like
talk to
bear
that
the
person.
attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give them the
Yeah.
entire attention.
That's
But
what I
like
would do.
And then
after
the
the
second
first,
date-
after the second date, like I don't. Sorry, like I'm going to be the same as I normally would be.
but you also
It's
can't say
hard.
you can't say that phones just prevent connection, period, because we also wouldn't be here right now if we didn't
True.
have that. Like we
Right.
wouldn't be
they
having
are
this
connection
conversation.
in a way.
This is
And
connection.
that's why I talk about balance. Right? I think that there's push and pull. I think if you can have a mixture of both, I think I would say in the early 2010s, mid 2010s, I think was when we had that balance quite spot on, where everyone did have a phone, everyone would use a phone very regularly, but I would still say there was some level of like connection with everybody. Like people would put the phone down, people weren't like I would say I don't want to use the word addicted, but that's kind of what it is now. I think everybody is addicted to their phones, and that's fine. I am too. I am one of those people. But I think that like back then, there was still I don't know, there was still a balance. It wasn't like every single person you saw at a restaurant was glued to their phone and nobody was talking like it is now. I think the pandemic really accelerated that sort of transition.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a thing before the pandemic. Let's be fair here.
Yeah,
Like
it's been going on
phone,
for me.
I
Since
I feel
I
like
don't think that was
phone
the pandemic.
culture, like the idea of like phones being prevalent in every day of our lives, I think has been a thing since like 2010, honestly. But
Yeah,
it has been. I mean, obviously, when you're locked in for an entire year, you tend to be more focused on it.
I
But I
think
think
the
people have
TikTok
been,
part can be blamed on the pandemic, but the rest, no. The
yeah.
phones were a big thing
I
before
came
that
to
too.
TikTok during the pandemic, but before that I was just as addicted to Twitter. I
Yeah.
just didn't have. I was more reading
See-
everything versus seeing 30-second videos. But mine, and it's weird you said the word addiction, because I guess in a way, yes, it's an addiction, but I think it's so much more than that. It's a way of life. Like to me, it's not
more
even. We're
complicated.
so past the word addiction. It's like in its own category of how we are, and this is where kind of the long form versus short form
It's
conversations
normalized.
happen.
I
But
think
it's
that-
normalized. Like me not having my phone ever out of my hand is normalized. I can be on a hiking trail, doesn't matter, have my phone in my hand. Like it's like a part of me. I don't know how else to explain it. It's not an
Yeah,
addiction. It's now part of my personality, which
it's
is
a-
way worse than an addiction.
I think
I just don't
it's
know how
well,
to.
I think addiction is like the most simplified way you can say it, but I do agree it's a bit more nuanced than that because
It's just
and
brain
the thing
rot.
as
You're
well.
just describing brain rot.
Well,
Literally.
the other
But
thing
I'm
with
here
it
for it.
too.
Yeah,
I think
and it's
what
okay.
distinguishes it. I think what distinguishes it from an addiction is that there are some people like an addiction is some people are, some people aren't. But I think that with a phone, like I mean, name a single person apart from like the really really militant "I will never use technology" people, which is basically what like less
Ron
than 1% of the
Swanson.
population. Name a single person
Swanson.
in the 21st century
You
who
got
is
here.
not
He is. There's the man himself. I see him.
I'm
Thanks,
not
Alex.
doing any more editing for you. I will do Ron
Oh,
Swanson because it's all of his
We
glory.
love Ron
but-
Right there.
Swanson.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Can I have him moved over here behind me?
No.
Oh.
Can you have him sit right next to me?
No.
Yeah, I want him to sit next to you.
No.
Hi, Ron.
No.
Hi, Ron.
I think society
No.
as a whole is very addicted. I noticed like the behaviors I like made with my phone when I was younger. Everything I did on my phone was very deliberate. I'd open that app because I wanted to open it because I thought to open it. I feel like now everything I do on my phone is completely mindless. I just open Instagram without any reason for it.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually thinking in
You
that
don't
moment.
even
"Ooh,
like
let's check
Instagram."
Instagram. No, but I have it and I open it for no reason. Discord, like obviously there are some times where I will. I'm like, I want to message this person, or oh, I need to check something. But I would say 50% of the time I open Discord, it's for no reason. It's like, wait, why did I even open Discord? What am I doing on it? Or like, any of my other apps on my phone, like I open them without there really being a reason. It's a thoughtless thing I do, and I feel like that's something I would like to. I wish I could kind of go back to is when I used to use like my phone for deliberate reasons. It's the same now with YouTube. I used to actually sit and watch a full length YouTube video because I thought to do it. I thought, today I want to go on YouTube and I want to watch this video, that video, and anything else that seems interesting. Now I will change videos like every like 2 minutes for no reason. I won't even know why I did it. And that is the mindlessness of that. I really don't like. For me, I wish that I could kind of go back to a state where I wasn't really
I mean,
doing that.
that's something you can correct because, like, I still do all those things. Like, I still go every Friday. Drag Race comes out, and I'll go watch Drag Race, and then
Yeah.
I'll message a Moodle about it, and then I'll get in an argument with the Moodle about it, and then I'll message other people about it, and then I'll go back and argue more with the Moodle about it. And
Yeah.
that's my routine. I still follow that. I still do things very deliberately on my phone.
Every Saturday, for me, that's anime watching day.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, that's jet lag watching day. And then
You can
after watching jet lag, I
routines
go and
and
listen to the
things.
podcast.
Every day I play Pokemon Go like 8 hours a day.
See,
Hi.
that's your routine.
Yeah.
But you know what? But it's a coping skill too, and this is where like people will justify, and I'm one of those. Hi, I'm going to justify my actions.
What happened to Pocket?
It's a.
Didn't you like stop playing Go for a bit because of Pokemon Pocket?
I still play TCG Pocket all day too. Yeah, if you
Is
ever
it,
hear
like,
me
vice
randomly
versa?
say in a
Back
skate
and
call,
forth.
I'll say like in a skate call, someone give me a number between 1 and 15. If you
does
ever
do
hear me
this.
say that, I do it every day. Is because I'm opening a pack and I just can't choose, and No, I'm addicted to my phone. You guys watch YouTube, I play games. That's the difference.
Hmm.
And I do like to scroll through Blue Sky, and I have to, but see, I'm one of those like, I have to check the news to see what I'm missing, even though I don't want to watch the news. So I don't like check the news. I check Blue Sky because they'll let me know someone's
Yeah.
gonna be posting something. If there's an earthquake, which hi, we just had a big earthquake.
I only
If there's things, I'm gonna learn it through them. I don't need to actually go on news sites, but it's a compulsion, yes. It's an addiction, absolutely. But I feel like if anything, it's just a way of life at this point. And our
yeah.
brains have been wrought, like BB said, to the point that this is normalized. It's like everyone's getting a bit of a taste of what it's like to be ADHD, but only it's so much worse when you have ADHD. So, but you get like that taste of I can't even do this if I don't do this now, or I can't
Yeah,
stand to watch a 5-minute video because now I'm so used to these 30-second ones. But
I mean, that's why when I was like first semester of nursing school, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm spending like 12 hours a day on TikTok, and that's not an exaggeration. That's what the actual app said.
yeah.
I was like, okay, this can't fly. Like it's final season. I need to lock in, so I put a parental lock on it. I
You put a
locked myself
parental
out of
lock
TikTok.
on your
Yeah,
own app.
I had to child-proof my
parents yourself.
TikTok, but it helped. I
Yeah.
stopped going on it. I
When you
focused
have to
on
do like,
school.
it's the same idea with two-factor authentication. It's like the more you have to do in order to even get into an app, the less you want to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
It was just-
that is the same.
having just that one little thing, even though I knew the password, I could obviously get in, but just having that one little barrier there was enough to get me to go, okay, I do need to focus on something else right now.
Honestly, that's like a lot of cybersecurity. Like, often the reason you're told to make a long password isn't necessarily because they wouldn't be able to get in. Any good hacker, if they were really dedicated, would get into that. But it's deterrent. It's going to be a lot harder to hack a really strong, well-made password than the basic, easy one that like your grandmother made. So they go for the grandmother who's easy to scam and can be easily hacked, as opposed to the guy who thought to add a few extra characters, making the combinations a lot harder to crack.
Yes.
Same with anything.
That's
Same
why
with lock on
Blue
a door.
changed all her passwords to password with a capital P.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And an exclamation point at the end when it
Yes.
calls for the
Whoa.
special character.
So now
Yeah,
you
make
just
it-
say it as
make it really difficult.
password.
Yeah, password.
Password.
I make my passwords very, very
Nin's
long.
laughing, going, "That's not wrong, actually. She
It's
does
not
do
wrong.
that."
Yeah, he's updating all the passwords right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's fixing them.
Hear him clicking in the back.
Nin
Like, "God
basically
damn it,
has her
Blue."
entire baked details
Not
at this
again.
point.
He
Yeah.
really does, actually.
Uh,
You can check my emails.
but I want to go pedal back a little bit. I want to pedal back. Stop. You said school and nursing.
Yeah, I was
And-
just gonna say
yeah,
that's a great way to bring that in.
I will say that whenever we have talked about like schooling, you do tend to just like complain about the schooling aspect of stuff. And I haven't heard you really talk about the nursing side of your career and stuff, at least to me.
He hasn't
So
started that part yet.
I am interested in just hearing about like your career prospects and everything that you're doing in nursing school, if you don't mind.
I'll say the specialty I'm interested in. I did get literally 30 minutes before this started. I got the email back for a job interview that I'll do tomorrow.
Ooh.
So fingers crossed on that one, but I'm hoping to get in the ICU at one of the hospitals out here.
Oh wow.
So hopefully I get that. It's difficult to get into something like that as a new grad because there's a lot of knowledge you need for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, ICU is one of the most stressful jobs I bet you can have, honestly.
Yes.
So to be a new grad and being like in the interview process for one, even I can imagine it's like very like nice to hear, if
Yes.
anything.
I'm thankful because I know this hospital also gives very good education. They're very good about training people. So really hoping to get this one.
Mm.
If not, I've got backups. I've always got
I'm very
backups.
curious to see
but-
where it is. If you want to.
I mean, I can tell you after, but
Yeah,
I
not-
was like, I wonder
for
which
the
hospital- I
rest of
know
the
all those
world,
hospitals,
for
so-
the mod killers out there, I'm not telling you where I'm gonna work.
It's somewhere in the state of Indiana. There you go.
Yeah,
What?
I don't want a Moodle driving to my work.
Please don't tell me you're working at the one right next to me.
was a joke.
I have to
I
go
cannot
there
confirm
like
or
every 3
deny.
months.
I
He's
will
going
say,
to
like, I had the
UK.
opportunity to like relocate for a different program and everything too, and I was like, I cannot handle that. Like, the position was pretty much guaranteed for like the same thing that I applied for, but it would have been snowy, and mentally can't handle that.
I don't see you doing snow. Maybe San
Yes,
Diego, but not
I
snow.
told the person, the recruiter for it, I was like,
You're not
I'm
built for
so
that.
thankful for the opportunity, but never offer me position with snow again.
You're like, I do have a
Ever.
sweater. I have a turtleneck sweater, and that's it. And I
I
don't
would
plan on
cry.
getting any
The
more.
first day I have to chip ice off my car in the morning, I'm never working again. Quitting on the spot.
The
Oh,
day you
funny.
have to drive on icy roads, you're like, well,
Oh, it's
been
over.
a
I
nice
can't
day.
drive on drive roads. Drive roads are bad enough.
Oh,
I'd
as
be like a noodle over here.
as someone who is trained to drive on like icy roads and stuff, it sucks. I've gone through like stoplights by trying to brake and sliding through the stoplights before. And like the
Oh, it's
person is
horrible.
like perpendicular to me, is just watching me go by slowly. It's like a scene out of like a cartoon where they just like slowly passing by, panning their head, watching me go through. And it's just like, huh, yep, that's how icy it is today. It's like,
The
yep.
snowbirds that we get here driving every winter are the closest I ever want to get to a cold climate.
Well, you know, I send them your way, right? Every
Yeah,
winter.
they.
Is
Oh, I
they
hate
live
you.
here the other
Hate
half
you
of the year.
so much. There's not as much Canadians this year, which I'm very thankful for because they are just about the worst of the worst. But I'm gonna confidently say the Minnesota drivers driving me crazy.
Yep.
Those Minnesotans, they're really pushing my buttons this year.
They will like dry. He's not wrong. It is the worst. Like the snowbirds in Arizona is the absolute worst. But now I live on the other end of it where we send them to you.
I'm
and
so
it's much
sick
better.
of it.
The half of the year I have them here is actually not bad at all. They're very
That's what
great.
that's
But
what I don't
it's
understand is
only
people
when
say
they're
like those
snowbirds.
drivers are like amazing
Yeah,
when
Yeah.
they're
it's just
there. There's
snowbirds.
something about being here. I don't know if the
I think
sun
it takes them
messes with
out
their
of their
head.
literally.
I don't know if
Oh
it's
my
the
gosh.
roads.
Grocery stores, they will
The
literally
sweat.
like take their
God.
cart and just be right in the middle and just stand
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And in Arizona, you're not patient. You're like, hurry the fuck up, lady. Like it's just like, come
Yes.
on.
Girl
You
thinks
think we have
she's a
bad
New
attention
Yorker.
spans?
I swear.
Oh my god. No,
No, it's
like
bad.
you
We're
don't
always in a
really learn
rush
until
here.
you yeah, literally. You don't know it so much until you move away. I remember the first time I moved here and I went to the bank. It was like my first day here. And there's only one person in line ahead of me. And then there was the bank teller. And this lady had the audacity to literally ask this lady, how's your day? How's your husband doing? How's the dog? And I'm sitting
Oh,
there
that would make
so
me
pissed.
so mad.
I was so fucking irritated. I wanted to scream. I thought she was being so
I'm
rude.
burning down the bank.
And then she was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes she talked to this woman. And then it was my turn. And she spent all this time with me and she was so nice. And I was like, oh, so is this what they mean by island time? Because I'm on an island now. And yeah, like people here just are slow. They take the time and it's like a whole nother world. And you don't realize it until you move away. Like how
I
crazy.
want them like throwing the cash at me the second I walk in
Yes.
the bank,
You don't
or
need to say hello, goodbye.
yeah,
You get what you get and you get out. You don't really
you
talk to
move
your
on.
neighbors. You might do that little wave or whatever, but into the garage you go, close the garage, then you get out of your car because you don't want to get caught by a neighbor. So like it's just night and day compared to where I live now. So kind of
Hmm.
nice though. But you wouldn't like the snow. No.
I would not.
I-
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
nice to like
my
it's
internet
nice
cut.
to like go to places where it's snowing, but that's
Oh, but it's
it.
just
That's my
vacation
limit.
though. Yeah, you get
Living
to
in
go
the
home.
snow, having to deal with the snow, having to shovel driveways, having to brush off cars, that's not the lifestyle I want.
I don't know. I hate it
No.
too.
I want to walk outside and have a heat stroke. That's my
I hate
kind
that
of
even more
lifestyle.
though. I
No.
am the
Same with
kind of
me,
person
Obby.
that
I'll
prefers
take a
It's
cold.
nothing
little
feels better
snow.
than stepping outside with wet hair and it's instantly dry
Instant dry.
because it's
Instant
an
dry. And you don't
oven.
really sweat because it's so hot. Like it's such a dry heat that like in the south heat, you're like soaked. Your clothes are sticking to you and it's like your hair's like gross. But no, Arizona's dry heat is like the best of the heats if you have to have the
Is
heat.
it just sucks all the moisture out of
Yeah.
you.
You actually get freezing and you get goosebumps when you get out of the pool and it's 118 degrees, and that's because it dries you like
Yeah.
so quick. Like you're soaking wet and then 5 seconds later you're dry and your body has goosebumps everywhere because it happens so fast. Yeah.
I
It's
can't
pretty
imagine
awesome.
love it.
dealing with that.
Go to
The
Arizona.
problem
It's
is
brown too.
what
It's
you
very
just
brown.
Life
said
couldn't be better.
is that you
The
said
UK
a
would never.
thing over. You said a temperature that is over 80 degrees, and that is not good in my opinion.
See,
I
okay,
would
but see,
never
now
live
welcome to where
anywhere
I
that is
live.
like mostly
Same.
80 degrees over.
It doesn't get really past like 70 or 75 where I
I
live,
mean,
so we
I
don't
think we're
have
at
air
like
conditioners.
77 overcast today. Actually,
it's-
it's colder because it's windy and raining today.
We're having, in fact, it's hailing right now. I just had to look up my window. Right now it says it's 42 degrees, but it feels like 31. So it
It
feels
is
like it's below
76 degrees
freezing.
here right now.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
what we're at.
This is the month where we'll hit 50. Next month is the month where we'll hit like 55 and then
Oh,
60 and
we've already
65.
gone back up to
And then we go back
95.
down. And then we go back down.
Well, anyways, before we got into all this temperature talk, I want to hear more about your nursing
talk.
school.
That's true. Let's hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
almost
curious
done with
too.
it. I'll be done in May. It is 63 here right now.
Ooh, see, 63 is
With
nice in Arizona. That's actually like
25
sleep
mile
shirt.
per hour wind and 70% chance of rain.
That's awesome.
65%
Obby.
humidity.
Amazing.
I see.
Yeah.
Obby's looking at. I have a question about schooling. So
Yes.
so you're doing your clinicals. You've been doing clinicals now since last year, I believe.
Yes.
So what has been your favorite so far? And can you tell us like a funny story or a crazy story that happened with one of them?
The best one.
I hope it's a psych story.
Oh god, no. Psych was so boring because, like, for us,
Really?
our
That's so
psychs.
disappointing.
Well, because I'm at the good university, so we get like first pick of like the best clinical sites, the best clinical times, that kind of thing. So like they put us
Gotcha.
in good spots. For our psych, we're at the voluntary psych places, so
Gotcha.
it's
Okay.
everyone checking themselves in. The kids psych was more interesting, but still not anything crazy.
Nothing worthy of stories.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't like tackling people or anything. Now, any other psych for any other school, they probably had different experiences.
You probably
but
had much different experiences.
yeah, I actually know they did have different experiences. I was at a very good facility. I don't know, my favorite. I didn't get much ICU time during mine, which kind of sucked, but I think just in general, I would say my hospice rotations were my favorite. I do love hospice.
Oh wow.
That was a nice one. And not all the schools get to have a hospice rotation, so that was a good one to have.
I think it is.
Well,
I
that's
think
fair.
it should be mandatory. That way, like everyone has that experience and knows if this is something, an area they want to go into or not before they're already
Right.
in there. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also
Wow.
teaches you a
Well,
lot
it's
of
also
good.
it's a hard place to put students into.
Yeah, you're like, fun guys. We're gonna do some
Yeah.
hospice rotation.
Because you got to be
Don't get
very
too
patient
attached.
for hospice, don't you?
You do. You really do.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you just had the empathy level and the caring and the love. Like my mom, when she was in hospice, like the hospice nurses were like the greatest people on this planet. Like
That's why I love
they
hospice. Like
they
I've
were
worked
like,
with hospice so much
yeah,
over the years, and it's just I'd never have had a bad experience with any hospice.
yeah. It's such an amazing like thing for families to have, and the nurses are just top. Like, and I'm not even talking about the nursing care; they could be the shittiest nurses in the world, but they're caring and understanding, and meaning like the clinical side, you know.
Right.
But like their bedside, families, and just being there and showing just love and care is just
Yeah.
off the charts. You won't find that in any other nursing field, I don't think.
I do
Or as
have
much of it.
a question about what's driving you to be in ICU particularly.
I just like the challenging aspect. I Blue knows this more than anyone. I don't like to just sit there and do nothing and twiddle my thumbs. I
He
need
wants to
challenge.
save a life and keep somebody alive,
Yeah.
not stitch
So
them up. Pull
I
out the
like
baby.
getting to
Pull
help
out the
people,
baby.
and you're doing that more in ICU than you are anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I like the challenging aspect. You will always see different things. Like it's
Mhm.
never the same thing over and over in ICU versus if I was on like a general floor, I'm just getting the same things.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, geriatric floor, pneumonia.
Okay,
Mm.
that does make a lot
I
more
can
sense.
imagine. I think
also the money.
I was just gonna say, I think that doing hospice care, I think really build a lot of skills as well because I think that there can be, and I don't think this is really true with nurses, but I know with doctors there can often be a bit of a disconnect between like the patients because they don't really have the, should we say, like the people skills, I suppose. So I think like as a nurse to get that like experience in hospice care and learn like how to deal with like patients who have very particular needs and like have like and just be in obviously a very unpleasant situation and learn like how to deal with them, I think is a very valuable skill. So I imagine that transfers over very well to the rest of nursing.
You know, I'm imagining myself doing hospice right now, and I, I would say if I was doing hospice, I would never be on Skade because I would need to have the internet to be my outlet for all my toxicity that would build up for being so patient all day. Like I would need to
Mhm.
be able to go online and use Twitter and be toxic as hell. And I don't even use Twitter anymore. Like that's the
Yeah.
kind of patience that's required
You need to air
to
out your dirty
suppress
laundry
for
Well,
somewhere.
I
hospice
actually
that I'm
think I
it's
like,
would do really well. I
oh,
think
yeah,
David would do well
it
too.
really isn't that bad. Like people are like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you have to really be patient to be a hospice nurse." You really don't. Like those
you just have
it's
to have
like
more empathy
it's
than
well known
anything.
that like oncology and hospice are the two specialties where patients are the nicest because
Hmm.
both of them you're facing your mortality. Like there's no
Yeah.
way around that. So people
yeah.
are the nicest they will be because they know like you are the only one that can or will help them at that point.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree.
They're real nice and it
Well, and they
comes
already
pretty
have their
easy.
answers. They have their answers already.
Yeah.
They're not seeking an answer from you. They're just looking for compassion and helping you get through it, rather it be giving you your meds
Right.
or for chemo, or like you said, or in hospice where it's comfort meds. And they're, yeah, I would think it'd be a very thankful kind of all around situation.
Yeah.
Like thank you for being
Yeah.
here with me,
Yeah,
Yes.
I
holding
think
my hand. Like I said, my mom's hospice
Because
nurses were just, they became family. It's how it felt.
I
yeah,
think I
because
would do
hospice
quite
isn't
well in.
really it's not like a skill-driven specialty. It's really just the comfort care. Like you're not
Yeah.
starting IVs and doing that kind of
That's why I
thing.
said
You're
they can be a
just
shitty
providing
clinical
care.
side. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter on that
you could
end.
be a nurse
You're
who's
like, oh
never
no, too
started
much
an IV
morphine.
before and
Here I go.
excel in hospice.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I just could have made a few jokes I didn't. I'm proud of myself.
I think I'd be
Yeah.
quite good. I think I'd be quite good at hospice care. I think I would just have not. I wouldn't have the social battery for it. I think would be my problem.
Mm.
It is, yeah, it is a lot of talking.
I would be going online to Marvel Rivals every day and be the toxic one in my team.
You're like, I held a
I mean,
diagnosis
I
of
do that already,
insanity.
Abby. You know
I was
Yeah,
gonna
that.
but
say, what's new?
yeah, you
I'm
do that.
already
You do that, but like it's understandable from where you are coming from because you are a stressed out college student right now and you
Right.
have no real elsewhere to vent your frustrations and stuff.
I
Like,
mean, I do. I just choose to take it out on you and Evan instead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
that.
it works for me.
and it only has
Yeah,
ever
blue's
crossed
getting
the
away.
line once, to be fair. So yeah, good job.
Yeah.
So well, I have more questions about ICU, and it's okay. So, compared to a normal hospital floor, like post surgery or whatever, kind of more the geriatric kind of stuff, or respiratory. When you have the emergency room, and that's where everyone's intake, but you don't really get to follow through on things. It's more of you do your part, and then they go off wherever they're going. But like ICU, I would think would be a combination of like ER, but also I see the ICU floor as more you actually aren't really probably having to talk to the patients a ton because they're probably like out most of the time, I would think. Like unconscious or something.
Well, yeah,
It's a quieter floor, I think is what I'm trying
it
to say. A
depends.
much well, yeah, but then you also have more worried family members, clearly.
Yes.
But then too, the tech side of it, right? Because with like, a normal floor, you might be, assisting with stitching or like, giving IV meds or something. But like I would see the ICU floor would be more things like ventilators,
Yes.
bypass machines, things like that. So does that part like also, I guess this is a really long way of me asking this question, but does that part of it intrigue you also? Like more the
Oh yeah,
technical
that's what
side
I
of
mean of
nursing,
like the
not just
complicated
here's an
aspect.
Advil. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's a
because
machine
like
that's going to keep you alive and I'm
it
in
gets
charge of it.
old even just doing the like 10 shifts that I have to do on a general floor for
Mhm.
school and passing meds during those. That gets old real quick. Because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, 7 o'clock, time to pass meds. Oh, 9 o'clock, time to change your fluids. Oh, 10 a.m., time for you to poop. It's just that kind of thing. But when you're on like a critical care floor like the ICU, it's like your schedule will never be the same. You have complicated things you're dealing with, things that take a lot
I
of skills and a lot of training. And that's just a lot more interesting to me.
I do have a question about the ICU. How does like logistics get handled there? Because like I would assume you have to be very efficient with like getting like the machines and everything ready. Is there like no sign off process? Like you just grab and go, and like if someone else needs that, you're like they're going around the hospital looking for it. Like how
Oh
does that
no.
kind of
So
logistics
every
work?
every unit in a hospital has their own, well, every unit should have their own supplies. But then there's things that only the ICU has. They're the most intense floor, so then they have the most resources, like they have the biggest variety. Things like ventilators and things like that, you're never going to see on another floor other than the ICU
Yeah.
and surgery. That's the only times you'll ever see a ventilator.
But
They
I'm
stay there.
assuming that like as a nurse you would have to have like some sort of like sign off thing in order to take them, or is that not a thing?
They're probably in the rooms already, aren't they? Or no?
I mean, it depends on what they need. So like ventilators, I don't even touch. I don't set that up. I
Is
cannot
it all
touch
been
that.
done by respiratory,
Yeah,
right?
so like a
Yeah.
respiratory therapist sets that all up. I mean, there's like a room that has like all of the supplies you could ever need, and it depends on the hospital. Sometimes you have to scan and say, okay, this person needed this many wipes for their butt. Other times you can just grab a handful of needles, and the hospital will be like, hey, but there's like certain, it depends on the hospital, I think, because like a lot of them it'll be like, okay, you started an IV, so we're gonna assume that that patient needed a needle, an IV start kit, this, and this, and that's why it's like always so detailed.
Oh,
Hmm.
here they scan it all, like
Well, yeah, you do
literally
scan.
cotton ball
Everything does
scan,
get scanned. Yes.
needle scan, tourniquet scan, everything. The
Yeah.
little IV starter kit. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've always been
Mhm.
curious about that. Because like you have to be like really efficient sometimes in ICU. So
Oh
Isn't
yeah.
there like intake nurses? Don't they like rotate with intake and get everybody set up and
Depends on
or is that
the
just depend on
hospital.
the hospital?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything depends on the hospital, especially when it's a staffing thing like that. There's some hospitals that don't even, like, you'll never get a break there ever.
You just
And
from
then
the
there's
time
some
you
hospitals
walk in
where
to you
they,
leave.
yeah, you clock in and then you clock out. That is your break,
As
is
a
when you're
patient, it's
off.
always fun to listen to like that your nurse tell the new oncoming nurse like about every single patient they had and like where they're at. And like you just happen to be in the room that's like right outside of where they're talking.
Yeah.
And you get to hear
There's
all the tea
sometimes you
from the
listen to
day.
those and you're like, oh, I just learned something about myself.
Literally. I've heard it like with Riley's. I haven't had it myself, but like when Riley's been in, when she's at Seattle Children's and stuff, and it was like, oh my gosh, like I just heard the tea on all of the floor. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome.
You just got to hear
And
all that
Because they do have
information
to
right
like
there.
fill them in. Because unlike doctors, I swear, like nurses actually seem to like care. Like they listen, they'll talk to you,
well,
and
that's
like
that's the whole reason I went for nursing,
yeah,
because I still get asked by every it's usually old people. Every elderly patient I have ever taken care of in my life has always asked me, "Well, why are you in nursing school? Why aren't you becoming a doctor or something?" And I'm like, "Well, one, because I don't want more debt.
Mhm.
And
yeah.
then two, the doctors don't do anything. The only thing doctors do is
Mhm.
just prescribe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the nurses
they
literally do
don't,
all the
yeah,
work
the nurses are the ones actually
without
healing and providing
They
care.
are they're the
without
ones
the
involved in the
without
recovery.
the liability
Yeah.
that the doctor will
Oh
get.
no, they still have the liability.
Well, they do, but not as like, the doctors, have to carry that weight more when the
I
nurses
think
do all the
the
work. A good doctor though will always give credit to the nurses, and we've been really fortunate to see that like here a lot. Doctors be
I
like, "Oh,
think
I don't
like
do anything.
Yeah,
Jennifer here
they
does,"
know.
Yeah, that's a good doctor.
Yeah.
To
What were
me,
you
it
gonna
sounds
say,
like
Nick?
nurses. I was gonna say, to me, it sounds like nurses actually have the slightly more interesting like side of the coin than doctors, because nurses are like seeing everything, doing everything. They're more involved. Like, I'm not very au fait with like the like medical system, and obviously it's different in the UK as well. So I've got double points against me there. But I've always noticed it seems like nurses have the more interesting stories to tell. They deal with the most situations at a given time. I honestly have often wondered, and maybe there are plenty of good ones, but I've often always wondered why there weren't more nursing dramas as opposed to like medical like slash doctor dramas that we see. Like House was great, but House is doctors, whereas like we don't really see like nursing dramas, I suppose. And I think they'd be more interesting actually
They
and
would be.
realistic.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, there's what's that new one that's out now? I'm gonna have to look it up.
There a
Have you?
nursing
Okay,
drama out?
so I have
Yeah,
a
there's
question
it's not a
too.
drama, but it's like a comedy one.
Hmm.
Are you thinking
Um,
about now? So, like, I know your pathways. You can, stay clearly like an RN. You can go on to be a nurse practitioner. Have you thought if you, at some point an end goal probably would be becoming a nurse practitioner, or is this like you're just this is what I want, which would be very smart. But like,
I
is this?
I
Have
want
you
I
thought much
want
about nurse
to go
practitioner?
back to school eventually. I'm trying to think about whether I want to do it for like a nurse educator or if I want to do a nurse practitioner, but
Hmm.
that's also $48,000 of debt down the road from here.
Yeah, but then you
Hmm.
can write that prescription you wanted to write.
Right. Yeah.
That's the difference. Yeah. I like PAs like whenever I'm at, if I'm at a doctor or if I happen to go to the ER because I'm sick or something. When I find out a PA is coming in or a nurse practitioner, I actually get kind of excited because I know they're going to spend so much more time with me than the doctor would have,
Yeah.
and so
yeah, they're more
nurses, and of
invested.
course my favorite is always the nurses because they listen. I always feel like they listen so much more.
I think like
So,
nurses just are that kind of bridge between doctors and the patient. I think that they're the ones who really like hold everything together. The doctors will tell the nurses what needs to be done, and they were the ones who will like
and the nurses will
administer.
be like, I've already ran all those labs. You're welcome.
Exactly. I think that I really do think that they don't, as a whole, get enough credit for what they do, and I think that I don't know. The job is just a lot more noble. I think like the doctors are amazing and they do great things, but I think that
Yes.
nurses do have a little bit of an edge when it comes to that stuff.
I think
I
patients prefer
actually
usually the nurses and then nurse practitioners and then PAs and
Well, you think that, but then usually when like a nurse tells you you need to do this or you need to follow this treatment, then it always goes, "Well, I want to talk to the doctor." And then the doctor
Yep.
comes in
that's
and
because they
they're
heard
like, "Well, this
something
is
they
the
didn't
first
want to
I've heard
hear.
of it." Yeah.
That's what that is. I don't
Nurses are
want to eat
also
a
like
better
the
diet and
most
exercise.
abused, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've seen
Hmm.
like I have a couple of friends IRL who are trying to become doctors, and I always thought it was quite interesting because their family is this a thing here like where in America, there are people who are kind of born in a family full of doctors, so it kind of becomes their path. They're going to be a doctor because I have two childhood friends who are brother and sister, and their parents are both doctors, and it's like you just knew like from a very young age they were one day going to become doctors, and
Oh, yeah,
my
that's a
my
big thing
friend is
here.
going to become one. Yeah, I thought so.
But I
um
think most of that is just because like it's obviously very expensive to become a doctor. You're
Yeah,
going through eight
doctors
yeah
years
can
of
afford to
school.
have kids go to
Yeah,
become
8 years
doctors.
of
Yeah.
school and then
Yeah, your
more
high school
training on top of
teacher can't
that.
he can't afford to put his kid into school to be a
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah,
I think
but
that's
They
it's
getting
kind of
better. It is
also
getting more accessible, but it's also
they also
still
can
not enough.
see they also see the lifestyle that provides, and I think that might make some of those kids want to be a doctor even more so. But at the same time, they might see how much it took away from their family, meaning, if their dad's an on-call doctor like or something and is hardly ever home, they might resent that and not. So,
it's
but
it's an
yeah.
interesting dynamic. I think like he was always destined to become like my friend. I think he was always destined to become a doctor because of his family ties, and I think he liked, or at least was interested in the role enough to pursue it. I don't think he was forced, and I don't think he felt forced, but I do think that he kind of was always going to become a doctor. And his sister, she is not going to become a doctor in the way that he is, but she's actually in university right now to become a plastic surgeon, of all things. So it's kind of that same like
Good to
branch,
have one in
but
the
it's just
family.
not.
Yeah.
Indeed, you never know when they,
You need a nurse.
Yeah, I
you
need
need
a boob
doctor.
job sometime
If
soon.
she has
you
like
need a
a
mechanic.
if she has like
you
a
need
if
an
she has like a
attorney. Yeah.
niece if she ever has like a niece, like like her brother has like a son or a daughter, they might need something and she can provide that. It's perfect.
I'm gonna need my brakes changed and I need a boob job today. I know who I'm
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to.
You need a
The plastic surgeon mechanic, right?
exactly.
When
Uh,
I was a kid, I always pictured like plastic surgery as like they would like do like surgery on like actual physical plastic things. Like you'd have
Oh,
like a team of nurses like do like this is when I was
It's
really
when you
young.
give Barbie a boob job. That's
Yeah.
No,
plastic surgery.
I actually like when I was a little
No,
kid,
it's
I
just when
actually
you
thought
rip
like,
off the Barbie's arms and put it on a different Barbie. That's
Exactly.
plastic
That's
surgery.
oh right,
and cut
of
their
course,
hair. Mhm.
Yeah.
exactly how it works.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
They don't do nose jobs.
I do want to go ahead and also ask you just about college in general, BB, if that's okay, because I am curious about hearing college stories all the time. I mean, both me and Blue have gone to university here or university at some point, and
I mean, I don't have any like crazy. Well, I do have some crazy stories, but my college experience was kind of because I started right before COVID, so 2019, yeah, fall of 2019 is when I would have started. So
yeah.
then spring break in 2020 is when everything happened. So that kind of messed up my
Oh,
whole freshman year of college.
COVID is literally what made me quit college.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, that ruined my whole first year. The most interesting thing, and I found out, Blue, nobody else in my nursing cohort experienced this, but you'll remember it. When I was taking pathophysiology in
Mhm.
my earlier years, no, it wasn't path. It was the anatomy and physiology. We still have a lab portion of that class where you do your dissections and things like that, but we're
Yeah.
still in online school for COVID. So they shipped us a box, and in that box was a fetal pig, a
Yep, I
frozen
remember
fetal
this.
pig,
Yep,
and
the fetal pig heart.
a giant frozen pig heart,
Yep.
along with stuff for like a urinalysis, like glucose
Uh-huh.
testing, all of
I
that
have a
in this
video
kit.
of I have a video of your fingers in that heart.
Yes, yes. So we had to do in my little
Yep.
apartment in Tucson, had to crack open a pig heart.
Yep.
They
Oh my
like I remember
God.
they had to send
remember
us
it.
like a notice beforehand. They were like, make sure you don't do this with any pets in the apartment. Turn on all your fans, crack all the
Goodness.
It's gonna
windows.
smell.
I'm like, should
sterilize your
I be
table,
breathing this? Yes.
I
etc.
cannot believe I do. I still have a video of that. That is so funny.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
And I
What a
just yeah, I
crazy
casually have to
thing
take
to
To
do.
do
yeah.
To send,
dissection at home.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm on a little fold out table in my like 10 square foot bedroom in my apartment. And the smell of formaldehyde, I'm like ready to pass out.
Jesus
Oh my gosh.
Christ. They did
I was
not think
missing
that
that at
through,
the
did
scratching
they?
time you had to.
Princess scratching at the door. Yeah, that I would be the reason why you're the only semester to do that. I was just talking
I
to
was
my friends
mixing
at a
up.
party the other day, and they were like, "We never did that." And I'm like, "Oh,
Did they have to measure their urine every
they
hour
did.
after
Yeah, they still
drinking?
had to do
Okay.
like the urinalysis one, the one that we had to throw out my measuring cup for.
Yes.
But they did not have to do the dissections.
You
Those
had to
were just
measure.
turned into videos.
Imagine going to your
Understandable.
kitchen and looking for your measuring cup, your glass one. You just have to pee in it because you have no other way to measure it.
I still used it again. You sent me
That
that other
was
one, but
I
I still
did.
kept that one.
You're like, it's fine.
I mean,
It's probably in
just
my
run it through the
U-Haul right now.
dishwasher.
That's what I did. I cleaned it.
Exactly.
He is sterile. I
Yeah.
did
It's
the
all
test
good.
on it.
You did the test on
Yeah,
it.
it's we've been in school for a long time. That feels like forever ago.
I know. It makes me sick thinking like, oh, fall 2019 is what I started, and it's
Yeah,
2025, and I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
you're almost done though. A couple months.
I mean,
Couple months.
I will say I am very proud of you, BB, for sticking it out through COVID. Like
you.
literally,
Yeah,
as soon
same.
It was
as
the
You're a
we
lot
most
of
went,
things.
exhausting experience of my life.
as soon as like my college switched to online classes, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I am the kind of person that needs to be separated from my personal space and in a separate location in order to get any good work done. So like for me, it was the most miserable experience. I did like 3 classes and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I literally dropped out of college because of that because of COVID. Which, to be fair, I'm still fine. I got jobs and stuff like that now. But I am very proud of you for sticking it out that long, especially through COVID.
I need a nap.
You don't need a nap.
It is. It
I
is.
need
Well,
It
it
is
wasn't even
impressive.
just
year-long
school.
nap.
This was like, and I've known baby's schedule for years and years now, and it's like not just school; it's school and work, and trying to
Work.
find family time, and trying to help with whatever Minecrafts they were helping with at the time. Because in the beginning of school, it was somewhere else, and we had committed hours, like literal scheduled committed hours. And here's BB with his spreadsheet. I'm all like, yeah, I'm available whenever. And then BB breaks
With
out
his
like
Elgato
his
Steam
Yeah,
Stream
I
Deck.
had schedules broken
like
down to
schedules in
minutes.
color, like it was like insane. And I'm like, oh my god, you are the most organized person I've ever met. And he was like literally squeezing in 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there where he could help us while doing all this stuff. And that has been basically BB this entire time. Also
Yeah.
going through a pandemic, also going through, family stuff in general, relationships, like everything.
Dating,
And
yes.
you like
Mhm.
everything. You got strep throat multiple times. I was real worried about you during that.
Oh my god.
Got addicted to medicine balls.
It was so much. And it's like you think about this like wild ride, and it's crazy to know that in like 2 months, like this part,
Finally
they will
be
close
done.
this chapter. The next chapter is going to be just as exciting and funny, and good times will happen, but like it's just kind of weird to think like we've all been along on this ride with you for so long.
I do find it amazing and very impressive, and this is more as an outsider who, like, kind of, I mean, I've known BB for a very long time, but I started to properly know him only a couple of years ago. I do also find it very impressive, like how far you've come through all of this. Like I always struggled in school to like commit to, like my tasks and all the assignments and all that, and I think it's impressive how you were able to do that with like 10 times the workload. I don't think I would have stuck it out for that long. Like that is just so not me, like that kind of academia. So it really is impressive how you've managed to balance it
Especially
with
while working. You'd be like,
yeah.
Yes.
BB, you would join calls and you're like, hold on, I have to go wipe a butt, or like,
That
because you're
was
always
Yeah.
working
me
with
the
the
other day in our
elderly.
Valkyrie call. You two are going at it, and I'm like, I got butts to wipe. I am
You like
at work
literally
during
gotta
this
go wipe
call.
a butt, but you balance so much. Like it's just incredible. Like I'm to say proud of you would be a complete understatement. Like there's no word. It's just like I'm in awe by you. That's kind of the way I've described it to people. In awe
And
by
I
Yeah.
did
you
all of
because
it
you are
for a
able to
very,
handle
very cheap
while
piece of paper.
while also balancing things like mental health, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to take care of ourselves too amongst all the chaos. And you do so great in chaos that yeah, ICU makes a lot of sense for you. If not the ER, if not
That's
like
why I'm like,
something.
that's
I
why I
can't
know
see
I
you
can
spinning
handle
in a
that.
chair all day, like
Yeah.
spinning around in a chair.
The second I have to sit down in the hospital, I'm like, I might need to run out the door.
Yeah. So I think something like this makes sense. And I really hope, especially being at somewhere local-ish, I would say, I hope that this one works out. So hopefully, and you got to get those boards passed, which I know you'll do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cake at this
That'll
point.
probably be like July, June-ish.
Mm.
Well, it is very fun hearing about your schooling and nursing and all the things that you've been through and the amazing things that you have done, like dissecting a pig
Pig's heart.
fetus in your own
You
apartment.
want a
Poor,
photo for
poor
that one?
princess
But
knocked out. Yeah, we
yeah,
got photos, so you can
I
edit those in right above us.
I don't want to see a photo. Thank you
That's a
though.
heart
Oh,
right
right above
there.
us,
That's
right there.
I
you
am
do
not.
video? See that?
We no. If you send these to me, I am scrapping this entire recording.
Aw, you want to
I
see the pig heart
cannot deal
video.
with that kind of. I can't deal with normal gore. You think
Look
I
at the
can deal
feel
with
pig.
that?
Is that okay?
Oh, that's right. You don't like gore.
Uh-uh,
Never
There
mind.
was
You can
no
uh-uh.
blood. It was all
You can
dried up.
almost smell it through
It
the
spent
video.
3 months in my freezer in my apartment.
No,
It's true.
no. But I want to
And then he
talk.
did the wrong
Instead,
PayPal
I
button.
want to talk about Marvel Rivals because that's a game that you and I have been playing quite a bit. Evans occasionally hopped
We're
in
playing tomorrow. Mhm.
every once in a while, but Marvel
Battle
Rivals.
Party.
It's been out for about like
Yep.
I think this comes out like late April, so like about 4 months now,
4 months. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it has been so fun. Some
It
of
has.
the
Fire.
best shooter experiences I've had in a long time. And I want to
Yeah,
just
I mean,
talk about it.
I make fun of it for being the replacement for Overwatch because I was a very heavy Overwatch player who's setting my feet on fire.
I remember this.
Like I was obsessed with Overwatch.
Overwatch was your game. Fortnite
That
was
was my mental escape for the years of abusive college experiences.
mine.
But
So did you start
Rivals
playing
just a
Overwatch in
million times better.
2016, or did you start playing in
I did.
college?
And I played it competitively. I remember I was like Diamond once upon a time.
Hmm.
It was, yeah, I really enjoyed it back in the height of Overwatch.
Yeah.
And then Overwatch 2 happened, and then I just stopped playing. It was a lot. But then Rivals came out, and I'm like, oh, something new, and it's so much better.
It is so much better. It's like
It's just so
everything
much
that
more fun.
Overwatch
It's
2
not as
should have been.
toxic. Yes, it's not as toxic. It's everything that Blizzard originally promised for Overwatch 2. It's just more fun. The events are more fun.
Mhm.
It feels more
Even
interactive.
it's even the fact like they don't have campaigns in Marvel Rivals, but like even reading the stories of the characters is more fun than doing whatever they had to do with Overwatch. Like learning the
Right.
lore of the characters in that versus learning Marvel Rivals lore, like so much more fun.
It
Even.
is. Like they have like those comics and everything that you can collect in it. Like everything
Mhm.
is so well thought out. And it's really just a lot of it is those things that like Blizzard said would never work or wasn't worth doing anymore. Like Overwatch used to have incredible lore in their lore
Mhm.
team and their animation team, and then those all got scrapped. And I'm like, well, that was everyone's favorite part, and now it feels
Yeah,
so lifeless.
they really fumbled it with Overwatch. Like
Yeah,
Overwatch was such a great game. It had such potential, and I feel like Overwatch 2 was like a real chance to rebuild some of what was lost from the original, and they
Mhm.
just completely messed it up.
it
They
yeah, it
promised a
just feels so
story mode.
lifeless.
It really does. Lifeless is exactly
It
the word.
didn't even
Actually,
feel
there's
like a
nothing there.
2.0 update.
Not even
It
close.
really didn't.
Like
No, it didn't. And the fact they cancelled the like the story mode too. That was the one thing everyone was looking forward to because everyone wanted a
Yes.
story
Sure.
mode in the original. The entire point of Overwatch 2 was the story mode, but then they cancelled it. So
Yeah.
there was just literally no point to it. It was a waste.
Yeah.
yeah, I was very disappointed like not seeing the story mode because that was the biggest thing I knew about like going because like I hadn't played Overwatch for like 3 years before Overwatch 2 came out, and like I did play like pretty regularly back in 2016, kind of fell off around 2017ish. uh but like I haven't played for 3 years, but even I knew like, oh, they are going to be having a story mode in Overwatch 2 is what they promised, and that was the thing that was super exciting about it. Oh, they're making it free, even more exciting. And oh, okay, well at
Yeah.
least it's still free. It sucks. Okay,
And they
Yeah.
have like gone through recently and they're making new additions
but
and
it's
they're
only
working
because of
on it and they're
Rivals that they're
improving
doing
it.
that.
And yeah, and it's clear it's only because they've
They have
lost their entire
competition.
player base to Rivals.
It's one of those things where it's like people argue, and people argue very falsely in my opinion, that like competition doesn't make games great when it clearly does. Marvel
Yeah.
Rivals is helping improve Overwatch dramatically because of the fact that it has stolen so much of their player base. Like all
But
the
it's one of
popular
those things
Overwatch
where it's
streamers
like,
are playing Rivals now.
yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't think I ever will go back to Overwatch. I love the changes that they're making. I think it is getting better, but that bridge is burnt. Yeah, like I'm gone.
Like, listen, I would love, I would say though, the one thing that could get me back into Overwatch, and this might be a big stretch, but if they somehow did what League did and pulled an Arcane series with all the
Oh
Overwatch
man.
characters, that would,
Yeah.
if they
To
could
be fair,
rewrite
Like
their
bring back
entire
the
lore,
lore, bring back the storytelling, that kind
yeah,
of thing.
that could bring me
that's
back.
what made Overwatch so unique. That's exactly what made Overwatch such a unique like hero shooter. Like hero shooters have been done. Like they aren't really a unique or original like concept. what made Overwatch so interesting was that the people you were playing as, there was actual story behind them. It was all
Yeah.
created and interlaced
Mhm.
with the game itself.
Dude,
And
every
if any of
season.
you, yes, absolutely. And it was really interesting. Like they would do like origin stories for the heroes. The live action, like animate, like live action. Would it be live action?
No,
It
it's
wouldn't be
not.
animated.
It was
Animated.
animated.
The sort of the animated like hero
Trailers.
introductions they would do. Yeah, they were so good. Like I still frequently rewatch Dragons, which is the one where Genji and Hanzo fight each other.
Right.
It's so good. Like an Overwatch movie or an Overwatch series would get everybody queuing up for it because it's really that good. And I think you're
Mhm.
right. I think that is the only way they could perhaps salvage
Well,
their very
they need
tarnished
to do
reputation.
like just put a little bit of effort in, because like Rivals is over here. So like Overwatch had a season pass system, just like Rivals had, where you like play
Yeah.
it, you get all the know how those work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, of course.
there was no story to it. They would have like themes where it would be like, oh, it's the dark theme, and like all the skins that you get are like dark variations or something. But
Meanwhile,
go to
Rivals is a whole
Rivals and
overarching
it
story.
has the theme, it has the story behind the theme, it has the comic book to go with the theme. And like people will say like, oh well, Marvel Rivals obviously has established IP and established lore, which yeah, I get that is half the work done for them, but they're still making their own stories and their own lore for like how these characters are interacting with each other. They're
Yeah.
not saying, "Oh, it's just Spider-Man and Iron Man fighting together." No, they're saying this is Spider-Man from this universe and Iron Man from this universe, and they're tying it all together.
And even like characters that have never even seen each other, like in any comic, like they will still go out of their way to make their like character dialogue like communicate with this person. Like I'm pretty sure Hela is a very recent character in the entire Marvel universe overall, but like Hela has like a lot of like character interactions with a lot of different characters, some of which she probably would have never even met in her comic runs.
Right.
Like, to be fair, I am not a Marvel comic reader, but I know that Hela, I feel, if I remember correctly, Hela is a pretty recent addition compared to like Thor and Loki and most of the other Marvel characters. I could be entirely wrong. Don't hate me in the comments for it if I am. But yeah.
You can hate him. It's okay.
You can hate me.
You could, well, we already do.
Mm-hmm. But Marvel Rivals, it is just super fun. I've played like most of the time that we are together, we're playing together, BB and I. And then Evan will join us once in every blue moon or something.
Yeah, we keep him out of it. He tends to
Every
he tends
blue
to
moon.
rage.
I would say every blue moon is a bit of a stretch, but yeah, I am a serial rager on Marvel Rivals, and that's not even hyperbole.
Nobody dies when Evan plays.
Yeah, they don't die. Nobody dies.
And
when I
then
play
he
Marvel
he
Rivals.
complains about never getting any kills, and then goes Thor, gets 30 kills. It's like, serves you right, bitch. It's like,
Yeah.
that's literally his play style.
Basically, that is exactly my playstyle. Essentially, the rules of playing Marvel Rivals are literally nobody dies. I will put all of my force into killing somebody, and they still won't fucking die. But then I'll have a 30
And then
kill game, and I'll be
get
like,
that 30 kill,
"Fuck
and then you'll
yeah!"
be all excited about it, and then you still don't get MVP, and then you yell at me and Obby about it.
Oh yeah,
You
I
yell at me
always
and
say
Obby
I
about
was-
it, and then I'm like,
Yes. I always say that I was snubbed. That is exactly what I say. If I'm doing really well in a game and I have the most kills, but I somehow still didn't get MVP, I always say, look at that, guys, I was snubbed. They gave it to the other person.
And then
Like,
there's
I'm at
also
we
the
really
Evan
need to work on that
curse.
victim mentality here.
I really do.
I think the biggest interaction
Funny.
between us, though, is the Evan curse, right?
Oh yeah, the Evan
Yes!
curse, yeah,
Evan
absolutely.
So
curse!
to explain what the
Evan
Evan curse is that whenever we play capture maps, if you've played Marvel Rivals, you know it's always a best 2 out of 3. So
Yeah.
every time that we play with Evan, we always lose the first capture point, but
Oh,
we
it's
somehow
not lose. We get swept in the first
swept.
capture.
Ruined. We
and
can't
then
Absolutely
get it.
somehow
destroyed.
we bring it back like very hard difficulty in the second one, and somehow manage to squeak it out in the third one somehow.
Yeah, that is basically the
Every
Evan curse.
time.
So whenever
I'd say it's
ever
like a
we-
90% occurrence rate.
It
Mhm.
really is, and I don't know how it works, but it's happened so many times it has its own name. So if we play a capture map and we lose, we all just start chanting Evan curse,
Evan curse.
and then we
It
actually
really gets
pull
us
it
together,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, it does, and then we actually pull it off. It's great.
Well, because
Yeah,
it's
Marvel
weird because
Rivals.
it never happens. Me and Obby play a lot, and it never happens with us. I don't know if we're just good.
We are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is.
We're
It,
better
No,
than Evan.
I
yeah,
do
I
know
can't
that we
believe
are
you were
better than
even.
Evan.
Yeah.
I don't even know why you were
He's our
questioning yourself
handicap.
there. Yeah, you sort of threw that away. No, but it is like it's so ridiculous like how that happens, and I don't think there's an actual explanation for it, to be honest. Like
Speaking of
I think you are generally
Yeah.
just
tomorrow,
cursed.
we are playing
Damn.
Rivals. Are you two going to be there
Yes, we
tomorrow?
are. I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I might be at work.
Stop.
Hype.
Collaborate and listen.
Stop
Oh, I'm
working.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
I'll keep that
So
in
now
mind.
that all three of us are going to be confirmed there, you will see exactly how the Evan curse works. Anyone who was there 314 at the Marvel Rivals, you'll see exactly what we mean by the Evan curse.
Yeah, you will
There
you'll
it is. There's
experience
a
it
screenshot right
firsthand.
there. Right there.
Right there. Screenshot
I will
above us.
apologize. I will apologize in advance for everybody who has to deal with that, because it is a very unfun. Like it's an emotional roller coaster when you play with me. I'll just say that it's
Mhm.
very much
Yeah.
an
Well,
emotional
we've
roller
all
Really is.
played even games like what's the one with the little beans that fall down?
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys.
Fall
Yeah,
Guys.
Jasper!
My gosh, the rage you have at 8-year-olds is just
Evan
off
is a
the chain.
serial
Like,
rager. I will
Yeah,
say
he's
though,
rage.
very
Evan,
Nothing's ever
aggressive.
his fault.
I will say though, Evan,
No.
whenever we have played the last two times we've played Rivals for Battle Fridays, you haven't raged as much as like you
He was
normally do when
probably
you're just playing
multitasking.
with us. Yeah.
No, I
Maybe
Hands
it's
actually
just
down, it's
me.
because he wasn't paying attention. But
No,
Evan?
the funny part is I actually was in those games. I see. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna get people saying, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
but
I'm ready
actually
for
gonna
this.
be-
Go ahead.
I'm
Uh,
gonna speak
I'm
very
laying down.
truthfully. So many years ago, when I was a kid, I used to rage all the fucking time at competitive games. Like,
Yeah.
it was a real problem I had. I used to like be so full of rage, I would break things, or I would slam my desk. But then, like, as I got older and I sort of entered my adolescence, I sort of became less of a rager, and I actually got really calm. Like, even when we lost games badly or something bullshit
Mhm.
happened, I would very much just be calm. But I seem to when I started joining like Skade and like playing with Skade, I started like putting on like a show with my rage. Like I would start like overreacting to death because it made people laugh. And I think the problem is I did it so much that now my rage is back and it's just authentic rage. So
Yeah.
it's like I almost
So
faked
what
myself
I'm hearing
into it.
from this is that even the rage is not your fault.
The rage we
It's our
gaslit you into
fault
raging
for
again.
laughing
Everyone
at
else.
it.
It's Skade's fault. It's
Laughing
it's
because-
Skade's
We
fault.
we
think-
really took advantage of Evan and his
Yes,
rage.
Yeah.
I think Evan's natural reactions in games, rather it be him screaming at something in Fortnite or Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, it doesn't matter what it is. It literally does not matter the game. He is going to pop off and scream if something isn't in
will.
his favor.
Again.
And I
Yes.
think part of it is a bit, but I think it's your natural reactions, but you then accentuate it to make it even more over the top.
Yeah. I
But I
agree.
do believe this is you on a normal Friday night. Like I
No,
played,
no,
I played enough with you,
It's
and I've been in different calls, meaning Skade, not Skade, and even just the two of us playing games, and your reactions are 100% always the same.
Yeah.
they are. And again, it's like when I was younger, like again a few years ago, I would still rage, but it would be like more like oh, are you fucking kidding me? Like it would be very like casual
Yeah.
rage.
I get
Whereas
exactly
like
what
then
you
I
mean.
sort of
Yeah.
then I exaggerated the rage
Now
on
it's
Skate, and now I
now
do
it's
it
like
so much
Evan's
it's just
looking up my
annoying.
IP address.
Yeah,
He's
basically.
buying
Find
he's
me.
buying a realistic Thor hammer.
We had
Yeah,
to like we
I'm
even
gonna do
started
that.
like a donation of money to give to Jasper because the therapy that kid's gonna need from
Yeah.
this
Right.
grown ass man
Yeah,
attacking him all the
Jasper.
time.
Jasper was Jasper. I'm actually going to explain Jasper. Really
Yeah,
quick,
please
'cause I don't
explain
know if
Jasper because
all of
I
you
don't
guys
even
know.
know who
Jasper.
Jasper is.
So okay, this is great. So when we would play Fall Guys for our What Are We Playing sessions, obviously I would rage at the game because it's a game where
Obviously.
you're platforming and you're dealing with hundreds of idiots in your way that get in the fucking way
Small,
and knock you
small
off.
children.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They
So
pull your
Blue would
leg off, you
often
win.
The whole
Keep
point of
going.
the game,
so
yeah.
Blue would
The
so
point of
Blue
the
would
game.
often so I'd rage and Blue would often very politely remind me that hey, like these are probably little children who don't like even know what's
That's
going on and they're just playing.
Rational.
Blue is the empathetic and rational one. So I at one day when playing, like I said, I don't give a shit if it's a little kid. Jasper is pissing me off. Like, I just gave. They weren't called
He gave
Jasper in the game.
birth
I just
to all the children
I
that he
essentially
bullies.
I essentially personified everybody I raged at into one person
Now
called
they're all
Jasper,
Jasper.
an annoying
Yeah.
little kid. So anyone that fucks me over in a game of Fall Guys or Marvel Rivals is just some kid named Jasper who's 7 years old
Minecraft.
and gets in the fucking way and annoys the shit out of me and intentionally fucks up my gameplay so I can't win.
By
That's
trying
essentially who
to
Jasper
win
is.
their game.
You should
know.
have a
Yeah.
Moodle teach you about dress to impress. I feel like you'd be great at that.
Wow.
We even talked about that on the
I don't even-
podcast before, that we want
Dress to impress.
Evan to play Dress to Impress.
He would be great at it, and that is they're notorious for bullying children there. So
Really?
Right.
I think
So
Evan
I-
would be really great for that environment.
I am a bullier of sorts, yes. It is sort of my go-to behavior. I'm a chronic
No,
bully.
because the people who crash out and dress to impress, it's really just a different level. So I think you'd be great for that.
I
Yeah.
I have to
love
check
seeing
this
the
out. I've
crash
never even heard
outs.
of it.
I
Blue.
did see a Moodle kind of crash out once.
Oh my god, she messages me all the time. She's like, "This isn't even on. Like, it's not even close to the theme. It's not on theme." And she'll like crash out with me, and she'll like show me a screenshot of something she said in chat, and I'm like, "It's not like a 9-year-old."
She was so upset one day that she was playing and streaming it to me, and she dressed up as Sans Undertale for video games theme, and somehow like 3 other people got ahead of her, and she just had a complete crash out. And it was
Yes.
very
Yeah.
funny to see.
I love it.
Love you,
I am so
Moodle.
intrigued.
I
Are you
love Dress to
intrigued?
Impress.
I am so intrigued, Evan. I have no idea what this
It's
is.
Roblox, to be fair.
Oh, I've
See,
heard
now
of
I
this
just
game.
see
Yeah,
now I've
Roblox.
just made
Yeah,
it to where they're
Blue's
never gonna play
tuning it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue has tuned it out.
Roblox. Roblox is a game I never played ever, and I have.
We've
no
already had
intention
this
of playing that.
conversation before. We're
See,
still
I
too
got into
early
it
in the
very
podcast
recently.
infancy to
It has
repeat
started for me very
conversations.
recently, and I am
I-
enjoying it.
Roblox is the skibbity toilet equivalent of Minecraft, and it always has been, and it always will.
But it's so fun.
My respect.
I started playing
respect the fact that
Cyberpunk
you're.
today.
I respect the fact that you're a nurse. I do not respect the fact that you play Roblox.
I don't play it like often.
He
I just
doesn't
play it
scream
with
at
people.
8-year-olds.
Like it is fun. I do not scream. Actually, no, that's not true. I do make fun of people in
You
Roblox.
probably
Yeah.
do, actually.
I
All
do make
three
fun
of
of
you
people in
probably
Roblox.
do.
Well,
to
because
some
it's a
degree.
thing that you do. You go on Dress to Impress with your friends. You all make your outfits. You give each other 5 stars. You bully everyone else. That's how it goes. You say boo, not on theme. And then there's
Oh
like
my
one
God.
person that looks amazing, and then you're like, oh, you're beautiful. Get off the runway.
Get off the runway.
Oh,
Crazy.
good
Okay.
times.
So, Blue, if I remember correctly, you
Yes.
have to go to work in like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be leaving here in just a little bit.
So,
15 minutes.
I think that maybe this is a good point to wrap up the episode. BB, we ask our guests every time to please add something to the set at the end of each episode. So, would you do the honor of adding whatever you'd like to the set, whatever wall, wherever, even covering the Skader Things banners, because we've already let that happen, wherever you want.
But you had to put a sign.
Yeah, you do have to put a sign claiming,
You
signing
have
your work.
Rosie's wife's ashes. Remember, Rosie and Spongy married the queen, remember? And like the queen died. So
I don't think
we've
I have
got
the
Rin's
Star
bell.
Puffs map on here.
Oh yeah. We don't have that. Oh, that'll be our second one, our second map.
If you have one.
No, I don't.
Uh-oh. Guess that means you have to do something else. Guess we're gonna have a Star Puffs cup here forever and ever.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
You could
It's
It's
do
gonna
that.
grow
Spice
mold
latte.
and everything in the drink.
Yeah, this is gonna be a green pumpkin spice latte.
Be smart about this.
I gotta be
Jesus.
strategic. This is very important.
That's
I
pretty
have been struggling to
strategic.
speak. This is the most coherently I have spoken today in this podcast. Every single time I've spoken to my friends today, I have completely fumbled all of my words. It has been really bad. Yeah, leave the mark.
That's a good spot.
That's
Yep.
perfect.
You gonna trim it or leave it? Leave it.
Leave it
I'll trim
untrimmed.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And make sure you sign it as well.
The old
I hate
school.
the fact that you're using that phrasing. My God,
I didn't know another way to say it because it's
you're
trimming
the
it.
worst.
It is trimming it. She's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I mean,
You can grab the format from one of these. So
Not
Ali
that we
put
have a
lemon head,
format, but we have a
lemon
format.
him. We don't care about it, but we really do care about
Just what
it.
name?
Ooh, hanging
Get
signs.
to do the little signs.
Mhm.
Only
a
was
great
on
day.
Friday. There you go.
Yay.
Awesome.
Well, it does seem that we're getting some Sorry, I was distracted by something. Oh. Sorry, I do need to do the outro now.
You're 12.
It's
Hi.
good now. Yeah.
All right.
This
I
is
am
your
alone
Valkyries
now.
and everyone.
You're Valkyries.
One day we'll have all 4 Valkyries on here. It'll be very fun.
Wake up, Nin.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Nin, wake up
Oh.
now.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
I'm
I was
good.
gonna say, remember your idea about the like newlywed show? I think I got 2 of them. So yes.
Oh. Okay. We
Skade
might be having
newlywed.
a fun show in the future then.
We should do BB and Buddy because as
No.
far as I know, they're
They're
not
not
officially
married.
divorced.
No.
We can't find the annulment, so
No.
Well, there
Or the,
was no marriage certificate either. You can't find that, so
Nope.
we
gotta
never
have
got married.
long standing couple friends. That would be really fun too. So
Well, either way, it is time for this episode to come to a close. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever, or don't. We're
Or
not
don't,
trying
it's
to
okay.
make you
Or
do
don't.
anything you don't want to do.
no,
Dislike
we want
it if you want to.
You do you.
Dislike
you
it.
like
Blue
it,
doesn't
so.
like it when you dislike it, but I don't care.
No, I don't like that. Please don't do it because he said it.
Yeah.
I'll cry.
Blue will cry. If you want to make
BB
Blue
will
cry, please
cry.
leave a dislike.
You might need a good nurse one day, and
Oh,
BB
sorry.
might
Blue.
be your
BB is holding the gun to me.
nurse.
Please do not leave a dislike.
Yes, and you might want BB might have the good meds for you one day when you're in the hospital, and
Mhm.
Right.
yeah, you want to stay on his good side.
All right. But either
Yeah,
way,
like
thank you for watching this
got
very
a
special
headache.
episode of Skader Things with BB.
BB.
And yeah. Adios, everyone. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Sayonara.
Toodles.